Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mori Crossing and today we're going to be doing another Harry Potter build. We're going to be doing the hut on the rock because it doesn't really have another description. It's from the first movie. It's basically where they go to escape all of the Hogwarts letters. This will be kind of a stylized version of it. It's not going to be a hut per se. It's actually going to be using a lighthouse, as you can see here. Ta-da! Perfect timing. Because I just felt that it gave the right kind of atmosphere, whereas using one of the villagers' houses didn't really seem right, especially as none of them are particularly dilapidated like the houses in the book and films. So I'll give a little description for people who haven't read the book or watched the films, I guess, because I mean anyone can enjoy a kind of a lighthouse, dilapidated kind of lighthouse by the sea. So Uncle Vernon was pointing at what looked like a large rock way out to sea. Perched on top of the rock was the most miserable little shack you could imagine. And as the night fell, the promised storm blew up around them. Spray from the waves splattered the walls of the hut and the fierce wind rattled the windows. The filthy windows, actually. So this is my inspiration for this build. It's not, as I said, exactly what it looks like, because in the films it's in like a shop for like, what, 2 seconds? The interior's in it more, but yeah. So I just wanted to make it a bit kind of just rocky, and I wanted to surround it by water, as you'll see later. So I picked this bit of the beach because I've really been struggling with what to put on my beaches. I've got Shell Cottage and this, but that's the only real mentions of the sea other than the cave in the 6th book where the Horcrux is hidden. Spoiler alert, sorry. But yeah, so I could do that, I guess, on a different part of the island. I'm not sure. I think it would look kind of similar to this build though. But anyway, I've chosen a bunch of barrels, lots of the tall garden rocks, an anchor just to show that it's the sea, a side-on pirate barrel as well. And I've put a little bug behind it just to show it's kind of like abandoned. I don't know, just got a big bug back there. We've got some shells, we've got a life raft, or a life, what's that called? Life ring to the right. It's just out of shot right now, but it took me a while to decide which order to put everything in because I wanted it to look cluttered, because it's kind of, I think, supposed to be a very high up thing, but I found out in this build you can't terraform on the beach. Yeah, I've played over 1,000 hours and I didn't know that. And I also, because I can't help myself, I had to add some plants around the edge. This is like after the storm, not during, I think. So plants make everything look better. I wanted it to look kind of abandoned, but at the same time I wanted a bit of nature in there, because I always think that if something has been abandoned, nature is going to come back for it a little bit. At least a little bit. Just trying to add as many tall garden rocks, and also I'm using some mushroom items because whenever somewhere is damp, I always think that mushrooms are gonna spawn. That's not the word. Grow. There we go. How many video games have I been playing recently? Jesus. Yeah, so I've used a bunch of the mushroom items as well in the more natural, darker colours. And me always trying to do little adjustments here and there, because I'm never satisfied with the first way I put something down. Even if that is technically the best way to put it, I always second guess myself. And some little mushrooms. And also you'll see that I've put some kind of letters on the floor there, because I know that letters don't get to Harry on this island. It's actually Hagrid that brings him the letter, but it's kind of to signify the journey that the family have been on with lots of letters. I couldn't think of another way of putting them on the floor. Maybe I'll make a different custom design, because I did make the custom design for the scattered papers and the letter, but it kind of cuts it in half. So yeah, I'll maybe try and experiment with it, or if you guys know of a custom design with the Harry Potter letters that are kind of scattered, please let me know down in the comments because it'd be super helpful. I found this water, it's actually meant to be for a pond, so it doesn't quite work with the corners. I don't think it's supposed to be done in anything but in a round area. And although I have found other waters, this one was just the perfect colour for me, even though there's a bunch of koi in it and things like that. I just loved the way that the water looked. It looked so natural, and although you can't change the sea colour in Animal Crossing to be less of a nice blue colour, I felt that this was more of a stormy sea kind of colour. At least that's what I think. Let me know down in the comments if you know of a different water design. I'll experiment with more after this, and people have already given me some really fabulous ones that I do need to try out. But yeah, input is always lovely from you guys. And now I'm doing the rest of the, I guess, almost like a moat, but the rest of the water around the back to as far as an extent as we can with the available beach area. So it's semi-surrounded by water as if it's in the middle of the ocean, but not quite. And I really like making like slightly, not unusual shapes, but more natural looking shapes with the water, because I feel like if it's just one blob, like one uniform kind of blob, it can look good, for example, in like a garden area, because it's been like preened as such, but I feel like it makes it look more rough and ready. And here is where I start to try and cover up those like edges that this particular one has. I started off with the tall garden rock, but didn't like it as much right there. So I put it here instead. And here I was just checking out what it looked like, and I'm pretty happy with how some of it looks, but I wanted to try out this brick oven, but it turns out I can't fit a brick oven back there because it's 1.5 times, so I end up just putting back the boxes and adding a wire fence instead. I end up not using the cardboard boxes and put a barbed wire fence instead. And I start using the barbed wire fence all over the shop because, again, this is all kind of symbolism. It's all kind of like, to my aesthetics, it's not an exact representation. So I feel like barbed wire reminds me of either kind of some sort of farm place or some sort of place you're not allowed to enter because, you know, it's old or various things. And again, I found this really nice mushroom custom design that I added there as well. It's very magical looking, which I like, so it's kind of, again, a hint at the Harry Potterness of the whole situation, even though, again, it's not what it looks like in the books. Here we can see it better. It's just so colourful and it looks so nice with the colour of the water as well. I might change these stone designs as well. And I just had to put a sandcastle somewhere because it's on the beach. You gotta have a sandcastle, right? At first I was trying to use it to cover up that edge again, but I felt that it created more of an edge than it helped. So I put it back there for now. I really like things that go on top of custom designs but still look like they're part of the like kind of flooring. For example, the scattered papers or the leaves or that kind of thing. It really adds to a kind of, I don't know, 3D. It just adds so much texture. I can't stand having any area being too flat, as you can probably tell, and that leads to my island being rather cluttered. I tried to add some trash here, or rubbish as we say in the UK, but it just didn't look right to me in this particular area. And I also tried to add these like wave breakers, and wherever I put them they just look kind of forced to me anyway. I don't know what you guys think. They were just too big. I didn't realise how big they really were. So in the end, I decided to try out the sandcastle as an edge again, or just more rocks. Rocks are your best friend in a beach build, in my opinion. They just look so good. I really wish that the rocks were the same colour though, or at least you could change them to the same colour, because the tall garden rock, the flat garden rock, and the garden rock are all different coloured stone, which I guess is so that it can fit into like different places. But I really wish that there was a way to make them at least slightly the same colour. So as you can see to the left, I think this was the second build. I used the warp pipe to get back home, and oh my goodness, I know I'm late to saying it, but it's literally a godsend. I just can't explain how useful it's been to be able to go and grab stuff, because you know me, I put a lot of things into my builds. I can't help myself. I always have to add more things. And here you can see this happened actually after I finished the build, and I was like, wait, wouldn't it be cool to have like a boat, because that's how they get there. And I had this little spare area that I did not know what to do with. I tried to put wave breakers here, but it just didn't work. And as you can see, I'm kind of struggling to put down the custom design, but you know, in the end, I'll get there. But anyway, this section, yeah, it was such a small little section. I didn't know what to do with it. So I decided to add this really cool boat design. I'll put the custom designs down in the description. And I tried several different poles. I was thinking about like the park clock or the Mario flag. And although the festival thing looked cute, it didn't really fit in with the theme. And it's actually supposed to be a rowboat, so I don't know if I could add a shovel to it instead, but I don't know. For now, I liked the pole, so it looked a bit, again, not like the best boat ever. It needs to look a bit dilapidated. Sorry, I've been using that word a lot today. I don't really know, abandoned, but it's not quite abandoned, it's just more like not cared for, I guess would be the better word. And I add some custom designs and some rocks and shells and things just to make it a bit more 3D. I'll probably change the wall back there to make it slightly more interesting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to change some of the train station to the right as well by using the brand new designs, like the standees, and I'm going to make a Hogwarts Express where that tiny little like platform place is, just there to the left. Yeah, that's my plan anyway. Just a few final touches, and here we are. So here we have it, the final build. I'm not sure what I could put behind it, but I'm really happy with how it all looks. I think it's a really fun little area, and I think this area is rather important to the story really, because it's where Harry finds out he's a wizard. It's where Dudley gets turned into a pig. Maybe behind I could add like the cake that Hagrid gives him, and maybe like some sort of pig thing, I don't know, just to reference as Dudley being turned into a pig. Who knows? I'll be adding something behind there at some point. If you have any suggestions, feel free to write them in the comments down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, and if you want to see more things like this, or big variety of different Animal Crossing things, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!